Oysters, salmon, steak. Where in Geelong can you get great food from such a wide-ranging menu? Friendly staff and a bar to enjoy drinks with friends. Live music every Saturday night and every Sunday night, as well as live sport on the big screens every Friday night. Well, at the Elephant and Castle, of course, situated on 158 McKillop Street in East Geelong, the Elephant and Castle has everything that you will want and need when you decide to have a night out on the town. There is even a function space available in the heated undercover beer garden out the back. For more information on all of our upcoming events or to book online, click on the Book Now tab on the Elephant and Castle website at www.elephantandcastle.com.au. Good evening and a very, very warm welcome to you wherever you may be. You're joining us here on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It is episode 57 and tonight we are going green. No, we are not going to be celebrating St. Patrick's Day belatedly. Steve Curtin, welcome to the show.
G'day, Tonchi. It's a pleasure to be here again on a Monday night. And just straight off the bat, we can confirm that there's no Geelong region clubs looking to join any breakaway European leagues. So just wanted to clear that up straight away. We value integrity and community as much as we value football. So, of course, that's how we operate here in Geelong. And Tonchi, how are you going and how was your weekend, mate?
Excellent, mate. I think the answer to that question is more or less that we don't have the money to join the big boys and what you're not. But yeah, look, we're going green. I forgot to say complete my sentence. I'm so excited. But it's all about the Eagles, Corio Soccer Club tonight. They are our featured club, and thanks to our sponsor, our episode sponsor, Elephant and Castle. Boy, have we got a show tonight. But before we talk about tonight's show, let's talk about the weekend. A special shout out to a special man who celebrated his 50th birthday on the weekend. He's not in the state. In fact, he's fled. He's worried he's going to be having another shot or two. And Craig Filer, he's up in Sydney for work functions, but his memory lives on. His memory lives on. Happy 50th birthday, Craig. A highly esteemed colleague of ours, both from the Football Out West show, which is our sister program, but also, Steve, one of your regular co-commentators. And speaking of the weekend, all three of us happened to be at Friday night down in Melbourne for the taking in the Melbourneites Altona Magic game. I was just a pleb in the grandstand, just having a good evening of watching football, NPL football at its finest, with a winner scored in the last second or two. And I was talking to Gene Digidomenico, well known to Corio Soccer Club people. We were sitting next to each other. We're just saying, how good is this Friday night football, grassroots football? Can't be any better. Then we got the smartphone out, and there are the dulcet tones of Steve Curtin and Craig Filer. Mate, it was a perfect night. How was it commentating there at Knight Stadium, Steve, with Craig?
Look, well, first of all, I was going to say I was going to try and prompt you at some point to get that gangster-style mask out, but I didn't need to. But Craig, belated happy 50th again, and it was good to be in the commentary box there at Knight Stadium because the facilities are fantastic there. It's as good as being in the commentary box at like the MCG or Amy Park or anywhere else. It's very good. So Craig and I had a great night calling all the action, and it was another thrilling finish featuring Altona Magic. They seem to enjoy scoring injury time goals lately, but then they ended up conceding one as well, a little bit unluckily as well. So anyway, it was good to see you in person, mate, because we don't get to catch up that often.
No, we don't. It's all virtual, isn't it?
Via computers, and it's not the same. Yeah. So it was good to see your face and young Tommy as well. So it was good.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Great to have community grassroots football back in action. The mini-roos, the juniors, the local league, the Sunday league, as they used to call it. Some people call it still the WVSA league or the GRFA league. And we were debating about this. It doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
So, look, anyone out there, and we've got the numbers already starting to roll in, if you've got a good name for the Geelong competition, in the comment section, drop the suggestion. We're going to read out the best. But speaking of the weekend, I had the pleasure of commentating the Galaxy United game. Well, pleasure, bittersweet kind of a term, I suppose. A big shout out to Branko Krastevsky, the president out of Galaxy United. They are actually, even though they're not in the WNPL, they're in the newly formed Victorian Premier League. They are still going out to organise live streaming of their matches, all their home matches at least. So unfortunately, Galaxy came on the wrong end of a 3-1 scoreline. But it's brilliant to see the clubs really getting on the front foot as far as their media. And like Steve, I don't know about you, mate, but I've been dizzy the last 24 hours just following all of the clubs' social media postings. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I mean, still can be a lot better, and there are still clubs that are, I think, living in the caveman era. But by and large, kudos to a lot of the Geelong clubs for really, really upping the ante as far as their social media, in-house media is concerned.
Yeah, definitely, mate. There's all of a sudden with the community football kicking off and the juniors and everything, there's so much to cover on the social media pages of the various clubs, and those who are involved doing that, volunteers doing a great job. Keep it up. I guess many hands make light work as well. So if you can share the duties around, that might help a bit too. And also, I don't mind the old trick of the selective result posting as well. Sometimes if the team doesn't get up, the result doesn't go to air.
Or try getting. Yeah. But you know what? All jokes aside, like I said, some of the Geelong clubs, kudos, well done, fantastic. But there are clubs, like even in the state leagues, I'm noticing in the state leagues, some of the clubs don't even put their, score updates on the, Football Victoria website. So when you're looking afterwards, like we are, looking at scores and ladders and all of that kind of stuff, a lot of those divisions are incomplete because there haven't been, the postings put up. So to those clubs doing a great job, well done. Kudos to you. To those clubs that are not doing such a good job, guys, pick up the performance. But speaking of performance, I think we're picking up the performance tonight because we've got two fantastic guests tonight representing the past and the present of the Corio Soccer Club. Some would say maybe even the future. Who we got on tonight, Steve?
Thanks, Touch. Well, first of all, we're going to speak to the main man from Corio Soccer Club, the president, Mr. Mario Gregorio, which is going to be great to have a chat to Mario. He's always got a lot of good opinions about what's happening in the state of play in Geelong soccer, and also good to hear what's happening behind the scenes there at Hume Reserve. But we've also got another guest, and you might have already heard this. There's been a lot of talk around on social media, Tonchi, but can you confirm who the other guest is for us?
Well, put it this way, we're going to even just bring it up on screen.
There you go.
There we go. Special guest, ex-Corio SC star import, MJ Monaghan, all the way from the UK. He is currently at the moment, as we speak, sitting in the green room. How ironic or how coincidental, the green room. By the way, folks, the green room is not a physical space. We don't actually have coffees and teas and, gold class cinema style entertainment. It's really, we just put people on basically on hold, isn't it? We effectively put them on hold. That's what the green room is about. Some people have been saying, so do you really have a green room? We'd love to. We need sponsors, mega sponsors. And speaking of sponsors, tonight's show is proudly brought to you by Elephant and Castle Hotel. Just looking at that clip, mate, man, there's everything that you could possibly want. Live music, a sports bar type thing, a beer garden, food, drinks. And if you're really nice, Mario Gregorio might even bring out the drinks to you. So
and they're pretty well renowned for their trivia night there too, which used to be on a Wednesday, now on a Thursday. I'm looking forward to getting along and doing trivia there because it's probably the best trivia in town. So looking forward to doing that again soon. Haven't done it since COVID happened. So
no, absolutely, absolutely, mate. We're going to step away for. I'll get you to step away from the screen for a second, and what we're going to do is quickly get ourselves all ready for the news desk because that's coming up very, very shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. We'll be right back. It's episode 57 of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. If you haven't been to the toilet, go now. If you haven't got yourself a drink, do so now because you're not going to want to miss the rest of this show.
good evening. It is Monday, the 19th of April, 2021, and let's begin the news bulletin with some results from the weekend, and we'll start with the NPL results that took place in those games on Friday night and Saturday. And NPL 2, we'll go there first. Moreland City and North Geelong Warriors. That match at Campbell Reserve up there in Brunswick finished 1 goal apiece. Julian Cassano on the score sheet for the Warriors. And bad news for North Geelong with Anthony Banavarts getting his marching orders on 49 minutes, and they had to continue the game with 10 men after that. For Geelong Soccer Club, well, on Friday night, they played an away game at Stead Park against the Western United NPL team, and they took the lead through Alan Guerres, who scored the opener, but they were eventually pegged back and also held to a 1-1 draw, Tonchi.
Yeah, look, unfortunately, therefore, unfortunately for North Geelong, that Anthony Banavarts got red carded. But I'm hearing from very good sources. There's a very, very happy chappy in town, and his name is Hamish Flavel, and he is now going to be wearing the captain's armband on this weekend, this Saturday. So he'll be pretty happy, no doubt. That's for sure. But there's the ladder very, very quickly. If we go through some of those games, look, the interesting fallout from this competition or this NPL2 division was that Goulburn Valley Suns and Lang Warren, who were the top and second place team respectively, both lost on the weekend, meaning that and North Geelong, I think they were fourth or something like that. Because they drew, they've dropped down a little bit. And then, look, Kingston City now are on top. North Geelong defeated Kingston City early in the season in the FFA Cup. It was a thrilling come-from-behind result. But on Saturday, I think North Geelong Warriors are taking on Bulleen Zebras. It's becoming an absolutely interesting and riveting division in that anyone can win on the day. So, right.
And also tonight, Bulleen Lions, they're hosting Brunswick City at the Veneto Club. So if Brunswick win that one, they'll go top of the league.
Yeah, outright top. So that's fantastic. Mate, let's turn our attention to NPL 3.
Yeah, so as we said, that result there, 1-1 with Western United. Alan Guerres with the goal. And we'll get the table up on the screen in just a moment. No, we'll look at those fixtures coming up. So as you said there, Tonch, North Geelong Warriors there at home to Bulleen Lions. That's this Saturday at 3:00 at Elko Park. As you've got the good oil there, Hamish Flavel to wear the armband as skipper there for the first time. And at 5:30, so you can actually get to both of these games if you wanted to. Geelong Soccer Club, well, they've got a very winnable game against Whittlesea Rangers, who are sitting at the wrong end of the table at the moment.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing, and there's the ladder. Interesting thing. I just come back from a meeting down at Geelong Grammar where I'm doing a little bit of coaching, and we had a pre-season kind of meeting of all the coaches. And there on my left is Hamish Flavel, who's going to be the acting captain of North Geelong. And then on my right, another one of the coaches involved down there, an old grammar boy, Mitch Johns, who is also the captain or sometimes captain of Geelong Soccer Club. So you had two of the young rising stars of the local football scene there. So it was all both in the same room. So and certainly they weren't throwing tables and chairs or anything like that, reminiscent of last Friday night's NPL 3 clash between Springvale and North Sunshine. Thanks, Brenton, for keeping us up to date with all that
Brenton's
information.
Got the press release there.
He has indeed. He has indeed. Brenton Ray, big shout out to him. He's the man who's got all the news, all the information. And I'll tell you, Matt, if you need results from games played over the weekend, you don't go to the F Football Victoria website. You go to Brenton Ray, a Lara local heavily involved with Hoppers Crossing. We'll talk about his side, Hoppers Crossing, a little later on. But there's the ladder. Geelong not doing too badly. 2 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss from their opening 4 games. They come up against bottom side Whittlesea Rangers. That should be interesting. And a win could catapult them, a little bit closer to their sister club, Preston Lions, up there at the top. Look at them. They are doing unbelievably well. But, mate, off the field, they're attracting like 3,000-4,000 fans to their games. They're incredible.
Yeah, it's a really good advertisement for NPL level football, in this case MPL3 level football, and look forward to that. There'll be a big Macedonian derby coming up when those
Yeah,
teams play each other. It's going to be fantastic. So
yeah.
I'm sure when the fixture at Stead Park happens that there'll be a fairly big travelling contingent. It'll be a huge crowd. So that'll be a big occasion that day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely indeed. Now let's turn our attention. Well, there's the ladder, I suppose. So if we turn our attention to the state leagues involving the Geelong clubs, mate, let's start off with State Division 1 and our featured club for tonight.
Yeah, so some of the results didn't go as well as we hoped for some of the teams at the top of the list here. Corio, they had a 3-0 home loss to Geelong Park. We'll talk more about that, no doubt, when we have our guests on later. Westgate, they got a 3-1 home win over Geelong Rangers. Geelong Rangers got on the score sheet with a Ed North free kick, but Goran Loznovsky's Westgate were too strong. And in State 4, it was a Josh Talev hat-trick that helped Bell Park to a 3-1 win over Barnstonworth United at home. Well, Surf Coast, there was a few rumours about... Oh, hang on, do you want to pause for that ladder there, mate, that you're showing? No.
Yep. Sorry, we'll just you're going nice and quick.
Yeah.
We're just putting the ladders up there. Actually, we'll pop the state 2 ladder up there. Just wanted to make a couple of points there. Strathmore, FC Strathmore, that are newly promoted from Division 3. They are really doing well at Division 1. They have the old A-League star Brenton Santalab in their ranks. Hoppers Crossing, another team from our region, I suppose. We mentioned Brenton Ray. They are a club who are doing quite well, actually. A big season, big year for Hoppers Crossing because they have got lights erected and they are playing night games. But they will also be coming down to Myers Reserve this weekend to take on Geelong Rangers, the annual game between the two. I think some are calling it the British Derby and whatnot, but it's always a big game. They always have past players and always have quite a big thing. Now, Geelong Rangers, kudos to everyone who's connected with the Geelong Rangers and everyone who tuned into our show last week. It was a massive, massive show. I mean, yes, this is our 5th show for the year, Steve. But last week was, by a mile, the most viewed show this year so far. Geelong Region Soccer Show, that is. We had huge numbers across all of our platforms. So well done to everyone who tuned into last week's show. If you didn't have a chance to watch last week's show, where we talked quite a fair bit, Steve, about youth development and some of the ways that clubs can, in these tough times, raise finance or funds through sponsorship and grants. Our YouTube channel, definitely go on our YouTube channel, Geelong Region Soccer Show, and make sure you subscribe, by the way. Over to you, Steve. Let's go back to the results.
All right, mate. We'll pick up with those State 4 results again, as we already mentioned. Bell Park's win over Barnstonworth United, so Bell Park moving along well. Now, Surf Coast, there was few rumours that there was a bit of trouble going on down there with Milton Bailey taking off and then Matt Linney either temporarily or permanently pulling the pin as well after their game last week. Well, they came out and had a 2-0 away win against Westside Strikers, courtesy of a double from Brod Van Branstein. So good result there for Surf Coast when they had perhaps a backs-to-the-wall sort of situation going on. Golden Plains, well, they couldn't back up their fantastic win that they had the previous week. They went down at home 4-0 against Melbourne City of Spotswood. And there is that State 4 table.
Love it, and doing really, really well at the top, but they're not having all their way. In fact, they are equal top with our very own Bell Park, who are doing extraordinarily well. Josh Talev is proving to be a real target man up front. He, I think, bagged a hat trick on the weekend.
Yep.
So that's, how many is that? 4 or 5 goals in the last 2 weeks.
5 in the last 2 at least. Yeah,
insane. So we always said they were going to miss the services of Mio Marinovic, the firepower of Mio Marinovic, who did make an appearance in the first game. But since then, Josh Talev has been doing extraordinary things, and certainly the All Whites are sitting pretty up the top there. Surf Coast, they've managed 2 wins, 2 losses as well. But they're holding a very impressive, I suppose, 5th spot, despite all the behind-the-scenes stuff that seems to be happening down there. But yeah, good to see them winning on the weekend. But Golden Plains, unfortunately, they sort of find themselves, I guess, what we could say is familiar surrounds, because they're used to being the battlers in State 4. This year, though, unlike previous years, they have to contend with relegation as being that evil prospect, isn't it, Steve? So they're in 10th spot at the moment.
Yeah, that's right, mate. So they've got the worst goal difference in the division at the moment. But yeah, hopefully they did. They got that win the previous game. So hopefully there's something they can build on there. And as long as they can get some good results against those two teams below them, well, they'll be okay, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay, moving along to State 5 now.
So really good news for Surfside, picking up not only their first points since joining State 5, but their first win with a 5-1 win over Maribyrnong Greens at Shell Road Reserve on the weekend. And 5 individual goal scorers as well, mate. Patrick Scusa, Stuart Manley, Matty Kirk, Julian Powell, and Harry Whitaker all found the back of the net in that 5-1 win. So congratulations to everyone at Surf Coast. It's really good to see them getting on the board. Surfside. Right. Easy to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over at Lara. So Lara, they went on the road to play West Point, and there's always a Volpe on the score sheet when Lara United play, and this time it was Sam who scored a hat-trick to help them beat West Point 3-2. And
aren't Lara doing really well?
Yeah.
I mean, not too many teams expected them to perform, I guess, so well, but there's the ladder, and you look at 3 out of the top 4 teams are Geelong teams. How good is that? Unfortunately, Deakin University should have been a little bit high, but they succumbed on the weekend. But Keilor Wolves, they're going to be a dangerous side if they can, hopefully we can knock them off their perch, so to speak. It is the top 2, isn't it, in State 5 that get promoted, is it?
I think Brent Ray will be able to confirm that is correct.
Brenton or Dale Harris or anyone that might be listening from Jordan Engstrom from Deakin or who's from Lara United. Oh, we get Ryan Horrocks from Lara United tuning in, or anyone else. Confirm that for us if you can. I think it is the top 2 in State 5 that go to State 4. And I think it's just one from State 4 that goes into State 3 because there's that sort of like a little funnel, if you like, that happens there. But getting back to the results.
So just a couple more results there from the State 5. And it was the other match, Barwon 3-1 winners over Wyndham. Anthony Thomas opened the scoring for Barwon with a header before Milton Bailey just recently arrived, got his papers through in time, scored a double for Barwon. So good news there for Barwon and their new signing and their coach, Dale Harris. Deakin Ducks, well, they suffered their first loss of the season. Ben Kenshall scored the opening goal of the game, but they were succumbed to Balmoral, who defeated the Ducks 2-1 in that fixture.
Joey Giacomazzo, the analyst for Corio Soccer Club, says it's the top 2. Thank you, Joey. Joey G. Another person I saw down at at the Melbourne Knights.
Yeah, saw him after the game there. Met him for the first time in person after the game.
There you go. Isn't it
Friday night? So
it's funny when you meet people in person. I met a couple of people at Craig Filer's party on Saturday night who obviously tuned into the show, but it was funny to actually and Maxi Santich was another one. Now he's on the show as well. Goodness me. We've got all these people that were there last Friday night that we ran into. So excellent stuff. There's the ladder. As I said, 3 out of the top 4 clubs are from Geelong. That's fantastic. Great to see Surfside Waves get their first win of the season as well. So fantastic news. And just like the A-League and just like the AFL, State League 5 does not have relegation. So it's all good there. Moving along to the women's state competition, Steve. Let's have a look at some of the results and some of the games played on the weekend.
Yeah, so a game that you'll be able to tell us all about was the Geelong Galaxy result against Whitehorse United. That was live streamed with yourself, doing a great job behind the mic yesterday. Tara Smith with the only goal for Galaxy. They lost 3-1. Yeah,
Tara Smith came on in the second half, late in the second half. As soon as she came on, things just looked so dynamic, really, really incredible. And there's another young girl as well, Sanders, I think her name was. And those two came on. They were little pocket rockets, absolutely on fire. That's when Galaxy United started to look dangerous. But Whitehorse United, tell you what, a team that was very well organised at the back. Across the midfield, they were very, very industrious, I guess is the best way to describe it. But once again, look, despite the result, kudos to Galaxy United for actually arranging live streams. Their next game is on Saturday night, I believe, and that too will be live streamed. So great stuff there. But not the start that Galaxy United wanted in the VPL women's competition. And for those of you not familiar with what that is it's in effect, it's a bridging competition between the NPLW and the State League One competition. So I guess you can probably speculate that in the next few years, Football Victoria wants to expand the NPLW competition, and this is seen as either creating a NPL 2 division, or some of the better clubs from the Victorian Premier League will kind of work their way up into the NPLW competition via what are you talking about? Via
like a promotion.
Promotion, yeah.
Very good. Okay. Well, as we said earlier, good news for Lara. Well, it continues because they went to Sumner Park and beat the Brunswick Zebras. They're 2-0 goals from Sophie Razmara and Izzy Wilkinson. So a great start for Lara United in round 1. And North Geelong Warriors in State 3, well, they got a 3-goal bonus to their goal difference because Westgate forfeited that one. So 3-0 is the result there. So hopefully North Geelong Warriors girls can get a run next week and they don't have to play another forfeit game. Yeah,
no, exactly. Speaking of Westgate, if we quickly, very, very quickly go back to the men there, Brenton Ray has got a comment. He puts a comment, says, Westgate are a good outfit. We're talking about State League 2 outfit. And they were battering Geelong Rangers on Saturday. Should have won by more from the reports that I'd received from Hoppers Crossing standing senior coach Rocco Giovanello, who was at Ardia Reserve in the first half. And then we've got a rebuttal, if you like, from the Geelong Rangers goalkeeping coach, Ramon Brasileiro. Brenton, don't agree with the comments. Rangers had a great game, especially a second half. Unfortunately, couldn't capitalise. 3 clear chances in the first 16 minutes of the second half. Oh, it's good to see a little bit of banter ahead of Saturday night's big game between the Rangers and Hoppers Crossing, who, for all your history buffs, used to be known as Mossfield Rangers many, many moons ago. Steve, you used to play down there, didn't you?
Yeah, well, they used to play. The Mossfield was their previous ground before they moved to the Grange. So when I first went there, they were still training at Mossfield with the floodlights and then playing games at the Grange. So they hadn't transitioned there fully yet.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's going back a few years.
Yeah, good to
50 years young Hoppers Crossing Soccer Club now, so they're going pretty well.
Absolutely. Some really, really good people down there at Hoppers Crossing and some fantastic people up at Rangers as well. Now, let's turn our attention to this weekend. I guess it's the Anzac Day weekend, if you like, in the VPLW. So this is where we're looking at the Women's State League fixtures. Geelong Galaxy United take on. No, that should not be Whitehorse United. Oh, what's going on? This is an incomplete thing. It's Geelong Galaxy United are not taking on Whitehorse United. We better take that down. They are indeed. That's a wrong one. Oh, my apologies. Look, there's been a crazy day today. Just absolutely nuts. So unfortunately, we'll get that one for you in just a moment. They're playing against Southern United. So that's it.
Another one of the clubs that was
NPL teams.
In the 2019 NPLW, along with Geelong Galaxy, and Geelong Galaxy did have a better record than Southern United that season. But hopefully they can continue that advantage over Southern United this weekend. That is so that one is listed as on the website as 4:00 on Saturday, but I think we have a feeling it might be pushed back to a later kickoff time to follow on from Geelong's game there at 5:30.
Yeah, I think that might be the case.
7:30. So we predict that will be a 7:30 kickoff, but just keep an eye on the Geelong Galaxy Facebook page. They will be all across it. They do a great job with their social media.
Yeah. Now, mate, we've got to we'll leave the results and the fixtures and everything from the Geelong leagues a little later on in the show because time is getting on. We're going to straight away bring our next guest, or our first guest, I should say, and that's going to be Mario Gregorio, the president of the Corio Soccer Club. as he's getting ready in the green room. We're going to bring him on. But before we do that, a little bit of a break from one of our, well, advertising sponsors, if you like. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It's episode 57 of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. And our next guest, we're going to bring him straight on air now. He's the president of the Corio Soccer Club, the man, the legend, Mr. Mario Gregorio. Mario, what a pleasure it is to have you on the show tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Tonchi, and thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.
Now, Mario, let's get started. First of all, let's talk about the senior men's team in the State League. Doing really well at the moment. The last, I guess, 2 weeks, it's been a bit of a struggle, I suppose. But having said that, you know, a win and a draw at the start of the season. First impressions of State League One football? Yeah,
look, it's really tough. It's been tough going in the first 4 rounds. Look, we're able to grind out some results in the first 2 rounds. A little bit unlucky in the third round against Bringbank, but look, I have to confess, last weekend I was bitterly disappointed, along with the players and the coach, on our 3-0 defeat at home, because as president in the last 4 years, I've never experienced anything more than a 2-0 loss. So It was a bit disappointing, but it sort of goes to show that we need to improve, going ahead for the season. And, my thoughts were spoken about it at length, that our ultimate goal is to stay up in the league. I'm not going to, make assumptions or anything like that, or say that we're going to get promoted. That's pretty much impossible. So our first priority was to get up into State One and then basically stay there and consolidate ourselves in State One for a few years.
And Mario, thanks again for joining us tonight. I guess the flow-on question from that is the community football returning on the weekend as well. How did you see that big return of community football from Corio's perspective? Yeah,
look, because it's been great. Like, since we've been into State One, it's great. Like, people want to be part of the club because we're a State One club now, and we're getting up there in the up there closely, behind North Geelong. So we're able to, get together about 10 junior teams, 2 senior men's team. Weren't able to get a women's team up on the ground up yet, but it was great. We had about 8 games at home yesterday. Quite a successful day for the club to see all the young kids, and also our 2 senior men's team playing the community football. So it was fantastic. Really enjoyed it.
Let's talk about the juniors, Mario. It's been incredible. Like, 2 years ago there was no juniors at Corio, and I guess in days gone by, it was always one person that would sort of run the juniors and do absolutely everything. Zolly Luxo is an iconic person who's been running a lot of things many ways. But now you have a fully fledged, is a junior subcommittee or a group of people?
Yeah, we do.
Working hard. Tell us more about them.
Yeah, look, we've got a subcommittee of approximately 6 to 8 people involved. They're helping out with the canteen. We have meal night every Wednesday with our juniors and the parents every Wednesday night. And it's great to have the canteen running throughout the day yesterday with junior parents. It's fantastic because probably for 20 years or so, Cry didn't have any juniors. It was pretty much solely a senior and reserves men's team. But, you know, we need to move the times and improve our junior setup, and a lot more volunteers this year, something that I haven't had the last couple of years. And it's great. You know, Zolly pretty much did it all on his own. I've been come and helped the last 4 years, and now we've got a senior committee and a junior committee. So hopefully it's upwards for now.
Let's talk about some of those people in that committee. Give them a shout out. Santino Mamoni, speaking of shout outs.
Oh, look, crazy. Santino loves it. Look,
he gives shout outs to everyone. Now it's your turn.
Santino's always there on game day.
Shout out.
Yeah.
But Tanya and Jay Crightley, they've come on board. Eleanor and Mickey Patara. They're just a couple of people that have joined the committee. They've been great help. Always there on meal nights, helping out with coaching as well. Slavko Pantelic, of course, the junior coordinator, doing a great job. And, of course, Zolly. Zolly's always there, behind the bar, in the canteen, always there helping out. And I can't forget Paulie. He always marks the lines every single day. And so it's been a great revelation this year.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's the problem with giving all the shout outs to all your volunteers. There's almost bound to be one.
And I've missed out a couple.
I know it's just naturally going to be someone slips through the gaps there. But I'm sure that any names will come up to the surface during the course of the interview. But just on the juniors again, still, you've got that fortunate position, I suppose, of being right next door to the North Geelong High School there. Have you been able to form a relationship at all with the school, and also just on fees as well? Have you been able to develop any systems to keep the fees down to encourage more participation in the junior space?
Yeah, I guess as president, my first aim and goal was to try and get as many juniors as we could, and the only way we could do that, because we're starting off, was to reduce our fees, and the only way I could do that was, look, I was pretty lucky to get some big name sponsors on board. The Gordon TAFE College, Viva Energy, Avalon Airport, and the money that they bring in helps us to reduce the fees, to probably one of the cheapest in Victoria, and definitely in Geelong. And we've been able to tap into the local market, North Geelong Secondary College, Corio Bay College, of course. We also got a sponsorship through Vic Health. They've pretty much entirely funded our under-16 boys team. They've paid for the registration. And they're from disadvantaged families in the area, mainly off Afghanistan backgrounds. That's fantastic. I mean, for them to, we're able to get a bus, and they, went to Colac yesterday and won 4-0. And to see their faces as they're getting on the bus and, travelling to Colac was fantastic. It's great. It sort of, it had me smile beaming after the 3-0 loss on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's great to hear that, Mario. It's one of those sort of stories that not only are great for the soccer community or the football community, but just the whole Geelong community. They're really heartwarming stories and great to hear. So keep up the great work on that in that space as well. It's excellent news, mate.
I mean, look, I guess we've been known as the club that have helped a lot of the Afghani community in the region. And the last. There was a group of boys that have come through, from the age of 15 and 16. Now they're 21 years old, been involved in the club for 5 years. And now they've established themselves in the region. They've now got full-time jobs. They're playing great football. To me, I couldn't wish anything. That was the greatest achievement, I guess, from what we've done at Corio, is to help people, be part of our community and region.
Yeah. Now, speaking of community, speaking of region, I guess another blessing, I guess, for Corio Soccer Club is to be located at Hume Reserve, which in effect is like the epicentre, at least in the northern suburbs, of the football community. So every time Corio plays, generally in the warmer months, you tend to get people from other clubs drifting down, watching the games. And when there's been Geelong Community Cup games in the past, it's great. It's just a great meeting point, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it was in the 70s and 80s when North Geelong was part of Hume Reserve. And the Community Cup, I'm proud that we've been able to achieve crowds of 500 to 600 people on those 2 days when the Geelong Community Cup, because it is, I guess, the epicentre of football in Geelong. It always has been. And it was great to see everyone just the virgin upon the ground before kickoff. Incredible.
It's great, but I guess as the winter months then start to creep in, there's not much shelter there. There's not much, protection from the elements, so the crowds start to dwindle. But not for long, mate. Not for long,
Not for
because
long.
the Hume Reserve is going to undergo major development, redevelopment. We've got a little clip that we're going to play, but in the meantime, tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, look, it's been something that Zolly and I have been working towards for the last 4 years. We've been working with council officers and councillors to get a redevelopment happening at Hume Reserve. So it's going to be well over $2 million of redevelopment, fully funded by council. We're hoping to get some state government funding in the next round of the World Game funding next year. But it's 4 new change rooms, a gymnasium, rehab room, 100-seat function room, great communal toilet facilities. So it's also going to have a 4-metre deck running along the entire length of the change rooms and club rooms. So I'm excited, and it's starting to take. They're already marking out where the drainage and sewage and all that's going to go. So it's happening. It's definitely happening. As soon as I saw the markings last week from the council workers, it's starting. The work will be starting on drainage shortly. I'm over the moon. Change rooms have been there for over 45 years. The club rooms have been there for 65 years. So it's exciting times, and hopefully we can grow even further when these new facilities come on board. We have to get females at our club. It's a priority, and I made that a priority when I did our council submission. We need to get females playing at our club, and we haven't had so for a long time.
Now, as you say, lots to look forward to there, and the female participation opportunities that can come from having those facilities and enough change rooms to have female-friendly change rooms as well as the guys' change rooms and those sort of things. Very exciting stuff coming up. What else is coming up this year that's got you excited, Mario, now that we're back playing football and having functions again? What has the club got in store for this year?
Yeah, look, we've got a couple of functions coming on board soon. We've got Savco's doing a fantastic job. We've got functions happening shortly, and I guess the main focus is we need to stay up in State 1. If I need to improve the team, I mean, everyone knows that I'm a crazy character. I'm passionate, and we need to stay up. If the team isn't gelling and not performing, we'll look for reinforcements. That's the main priority. We need to stay in State 1 because we're able to attract a really good core of young reserve players to our club on the back of State 1 football. It's important. That's so important for us. And I know it took a long time for us to get up and back into State 1. That's the most important thing I need to look forward to, is at the end of the year, we need to achieve 26 points. That's our ultimate game. We're still a long way off that. We've only got 4 points at the moment. Need another 22. Once I've achieved that, then I can then look forward to the new facilities. Then we can attract more players. Then we'll be an alternative for NPL players who don't manage their game for Geelong and North Geelong. They want to play at the next best level of football, and that is State 1.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, sort of a mid-table position at the moment, but things can certainly improve, and hopefully they can. Now we're going to ask you, Mario, if it's okay with you, hang around, because we're going to have a very, very special guest, a man that you know so well, joining us very, very shortly. He's just exiting the green room, making his way down that long players' race to the main studio, and he'll be joining us very, very shortly. But MJ Monaghan will be joining us very shortly, folks. So please don't go away. Hang around for a little bit longer. And we'll be having MJ Monaghan joining us just on the other side of this short break, if you like. Well, it's a very warm welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It is episode 57, and tonight's sponsor, the major sponsor for tonight's show, is the Elephant and Castle Hotel. Mario Gregorio, president of the Corio Soccer Club, he's joining us, but also now direct all the way from the UK, from Liverpool, the man who once upon a time was tearing up the flanks and the blades of grass at Hume Reserve, MJ Monaghan. Michael, absolute pleasure to have you on the show. And what's it like over in Liverpool at the moment?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. Slowly getting back to normal, to be honest. If I can remember what normal is, but it's just been a crazy year and a half since it's all happened. But there's no football like at my level. We've had two seasons, 2 seasons null and void. Yep. We'll be back in July for pre-season, and then the season restarts in August.
Murray, you can't pull a few strings and get him back to Hume Reserve, 2-week quarantine period maybe, down through Avalon Airport. It's a sponsor. We've just had a Mario muted. Sorry, Mario, can you repeat that? You're on mute.
Oh no, I guess I wish I could get MJ back. We talk to each other regularly still, and I just wish I could have someone tearing down, the left or right wing, as he did last year. And he was also a great motivator as well in the change rooms when he was injured. Broke his leg for 10 weeks, came back, and was fantastic. One of the main reasons why we got promoted.
Yeah, MJ, tell us a bit what's been happening since you left Corio. But actually, before we do that, what were your fondest memories of Corio? What were some of the funny moments? What were some of the memorable moments during your stay at Hume Reserve?
To be honest, it was a bit of a whirlwind, to be honest. I obviously come over with my girlfriend, and straight away we just loved the place. We loved everything about it. The people were friendly. Mario helped us out. The players were friendly. The players' girlfriends were friendly. Everything just seemed like seamless. And then obviously I broke my leg. I think it was April, and from then it was. For that next 10 weeks, it was tough, especially the 2 or 3 weeks after that. I had so many unanswered questions. I didn't know if I'd be able to come back. I didn't know whether I'd get sent home. Probably a lot of other club presidents probably would have looked for a replacement and said, we can't keep you there, type of thing. So that was in the back of my mind. I'd also dragged my girlfriend over the other side of the world to come with me, and I had her to think about. So sorry, I've just got the dog here. She's
we haven't had a dog on the show for a while.
No, this is a first. We have had UK direct from the UK. We have had guests, but never a little canine. What's his or her name?
Her name's Nelly.
Nelly. Ah, nice.
Named after the rapper.
Yeah.
Now, MJ, we've got a couple of fans that want to say hello. Jackson Davis says, here he is. Tell everyone how much you love and miss the pizza over here in Australia, MJ.
You know what? I'm a massive pizza fan. On a Sunday, me and my girlfriend, we used to get pizza all the time. And it took us forever to find a nice pizza, because over here, Pizza Hut is just like the pizza to get over here. But over there, it just wasn't nice. And some of the pizza places, what Jackson is referring to is some of the pizza places were just full of shredded ham. And they'll picking the ham off for like 10 minutes before they eat the pizza.
But it's filling. You only need a small, and you don't need to. Yeah. Haven't we got a few pizza places, Mario, that are sponsors of Corio Soccer Club? Kafitsa, for example.
Yeah, Kafitsa. MJ just didn't like all the shredded ham. Hated it. He used to just complain to me every Thursday night. What is this?
That's what makes pizzas, the shredded ham. Wouldn't you agree, Steve?
I'm not sure. I go the vegetarian pizza these days a fair bit, Tonch, so that's one way to avoid it.
I mean, I don't mind shredded ham, but it was just a little bit too much. That's the only problem.
I remember 2 years ago, thereabouts 2018, we were coming back from Wembley. My boy and I were over at a holiday on a holiday trip over there, watching Tottenham and Burnley, and it was coming back towards the stadium. There's I don't know, it wasn't Pizza Hut, was it Domino's maybe, or some other one of those takeaway pizza joints? And the biggest pizza I've ever seen, it was huge. And we thought, we're not going to get through this. You know what? We ate it. We weren't hungry because there's no ham on there. It was just thin, this crispy thin. It was like, this is not a pizza. But anyway.
Yeah, from one extreme to the other.
Yeah. Now, Prescot Cables, mate, that's the team that you've signed for most recently. Unfortunately, we haven't, I guess, as you said, you haven't had a chance to really see much action this last year. But tell us a bit about this competition. It's the Northern Premier League, based in Liverpool, is that right? And it's about the 7th or 8th tier of the competition in the UK.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, 7th or 8th, but it's competitive. I mean, football in England is just so competitive throughout the divisions, and you know we got quite a lot of fans. You know, that game that's on there, that's a local derby. I think we had about 900 to 1,000 fans that game. I've obviously played for Prescot before I come to Australia, so it's a bit like home for me. All the lads, I'm good friends with them, and the fans are all good. You know, great.
Yeah,
yeah. That was a last minute winner, so that was one of the highlights. But yeah, it's very competitive. It's a lot different. You know, like if you look at that, that's like 7th or 8th tier in English football, and you know we've got our own stadium, and we have quite a lot of fans who come down. We've got a lot of volunteers, and it's I suppose it's kind of all we know, football. Whereas in Australia, I know the AFL's big, and I know the Aussies, you know, you're proud of the AFL and stuff like that. So I don't know whether, because that's our first and like most prominent sport, then that's why we get a lot of fans and volunteers and stadiums and stuff like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah. What was it? What about the standard of the football? You know, compare it to, say, the State 2 that you played in, and you know, often people say the physicality of Australian football is quite significant or quite immense. But particularly as you go down the lower levels of State League, you know, I remember watching some of those Corio games where you were playing, and Curtis Bateson as well, and geez, it was bone crunching tackles, particularly the derbies against Geelong Rangers, Mario. So those games, they weren't for the faint-hearted, were they?
Oh, they definitely weren't. But look, MJ held his own in our league, and you know, both him and Curtis could have played at a higher level. Yeah, I mean, I studied the Northern Premier League before MJ came out, and yeah, everyone's come through some sort of academy over there, and you know, unfortunately, everyone thinks their son's a superstar here, but the talent in England's just enormous, incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And MJ, how did you find the standard yourself, and the style of football here compared to back home?
I don't think the style. I mean, styles change between different managers in England. So the style, it was a change, but it wasn't drastic. The physicality side of it, Mario did warn me. He said before I come over, like it's very physical, and you know, I said it is here. It's very physical here, but the difference I found was I think the standard of the refereeing over there was not as good as it was in England. So we're in England where I'm kicked all the time. I always felt protected by the referees and the officials. Where over there, I don't really feel like I had that. So that was one thing I had to adapt quickly, and probably how I broke my leg. I went into a tackle, and the lad just come completely over the top of the ball and broke my leg. But that was probably me being a little bit naive, thinking it's physical in England, it's physical here, so what type of thing. But that was probably the biggest change. I mean, it's physical at both levels. You're playing against, you know, big men athletes. You know what I mean? So it's physical both sides.
Steve,
MJ, what is life like for a footballer playing in a division such as the Northern Premier League? Like the historic nature of the club, I see it's 137 years old. The Prescot Cables there, that's pretty impressive. Do most of the players work during the week, and then how many sort of training sessions do you have to try and fit in, and then the match day as well?
Yeah, so it's just the same. Well, it's similar to what it was at Cryo, so it's just part time. We normally train at the start of the season. We normally train pre-season Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday for a few weeks, and then we go into some pre-season games. When the season starts for the first half of the season, we play every Tuesday night and every Saturday, and then we train for Thursday, and then sort of after Christmas time, the Tuesday games die off a little bit, and you train Tuesday, train Thursday, and then play on a Saturday. But obviously around that, we all have normal jobs. We all work Monday to Friday or whatever hours people work. Obviously the money it's not enough to be supported financially full time. So it's more of like it is a part-time job really.
So what do you do in the when you're not playing football? What do you do to earn a living? I guess over there.
Yeah, I'm a barber. I started barbering about a year ago. Probably wouldn't guess I need a haircut, but yeah. So that's my job. It kind of allows me to do both. I mean, a lot of jobs you can't do because of the football. I mean, you can't work in retail and in shops because the hours and stuff like that. Sometimes on a Tuesday we might play 4 or 5 hours away, and I might have to say to my boss, like, can I leave at 1 o'clock, and he's fine about it. So you have to find that balance between work and football, and some players have to miss games because they can't get time off work. We've got some players who are teachers. I've played with people who are police officers who have to work night shifts, and there's so many different lines of work that are involved.
Now we've got another. Sorry,
Steve,
you go, mate. I was going to say.
I was just going to say, MJ, with the COVID situation over there, how's that affected your work in recent months? But also, how are you managing to keep fit and hopefully that you'll be good to go for when football does resume at the moment?
Work. So I think we went into the first lockdown over here last March, so a year ago in March. So from March to July, I was off. And then we come back for like 2 or 3 months, and then we were off again for a month, and then we've been off again. So I've probably worked in total about 4 months in the past 12 months. I've just been at home, keeping fit, doing a little bit of road running and sessions at home, but it's tough for me to get motivated to do sessions in the back garden. It's not for me, but I'm one of them where it doesn't really take me long. I don't put weight on really, so it's more about like getting up to speed with me touch and getting a feel of the ball. So I start playing 5-a-side in through the week, and that's what I've started already. So I'll be ready. It normally takes me a couple of weeks. I mean, that's what pre-season's for really anyway, to get you fit and get you sharp again.
Barry, have you got any questions to ask your former player, and who knows, maybe a future player as well down the track?
Yeah, that's right. No, I just wanted to ask MJ because we're a little bit immune to it in Australia about COVID. I mean, is it real? Like, do you know people that are sick and really sick? I mean, I went to the football 2 weeks ago. There's 50,000 people, and is it real, COVID?
I mean,
your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't directly know anyone who's like died from it, but I do know people who say that their mum might have died, but there's always some sort of underlying health problem with it. So I haven't heard of anyone directly dying from COVID, but I've heard of someone having, I don't know, say cancer, and then they've attracted COVID and then died. I mean, I think it's real. I think it's out there. I know people who have had COVID and not died from it, and they've just been unwell and whatever. But I also think there's a lot of like scaremongering amongst the media, and a lot of the figures aren't correct. They're saying like 130,000 people have died from COVID, and I don't really think it's that many. But I mean, I don't know whether we'll ever know to the full extent how bad it is or how bad it was. But obviously here we've had a lot of like the over 60s and the vulnerable people vaccinated. So it looks like we're at the back of it now, hopefully.
Yeah. Is there talk when the lower leagues, say for example the Northern Premier Leagues, when that will come back? Is it goodbye for this season and it's just talk about starting afresh from the 21-22 season, or are they talking about a shortened end of maybe summer league, or what's happening with the lower leagues down there in England?
Yeah, so we stopped in January, but we played one game, played on Boxing Day, and in December, and then we stopped. We stopped from then. But it was we never heard like if it was going to be cancelled or delayed or whatever. It was just it's being suspended until we're out of this situation. And then the months went by, and I think it was last month they made an announcement saying this last season has been null and void, and we'll be back in August for the next season. Hopefully with supporters and everything back to normal then.
Few more months to go. Now, mate, I do want to ask you this one question. Overnight, we're hearing all this talk about a Super League in Europe, and one of those clubs obviously being Liverpool and Manchester United and some of the other clubs around that area where you are from. What's the general feeling? Have you spoken to many people or some of the teammates or even the media there? What's the general feeling about this so-called rebel European Super League?
It's just it's a shambles, to be honest. Yeah, I've that's what I was doing on my phone as I was listening to this. I was talking to people from the team and looking at people's tweets and stuff. And I mean, the general consensus is that no one wants it to happen. You probably get like your average, we call them armchair fans. Just don't really go to the match, don't know the history. Especially Liverpool. Liverpool's brought up on a history of like your working class man, and it's always for supported like your average man, and it's kind of just being took over by the rich football now. It's just gonna. I mean, I don't see why they have to change the Champions League, because that's kind of the pinnacle for club football. So what you have in England is your top four race is for the Champions League, and that's so interesting to watch. So now they take that out and make this European Super League. It just affects the Premier League. So you're going to have the likes of, West Ham and Leeds and Everton playing in the Champions League, but none of the big clubs. It has such a knock-on effect for like every part of football. It's everything wrong with football at the minute, to be honest.
Your thoughts, mate? Will it get off the ground? I mean, it's hard to say, obviously, but what's your gut telling you?
I think me heart saying no, but my head saying it's. Why would all the clubs come out with statements and stuff like that if they weren't a bit behind it? But I've just seen before that Mourinho was just being sacked, and apparently it was because he wouldn't take the players onto the pitch because he doesn't agree with the Super League. So apparently he's had a falling out and they've sacked him. So I mean, if that sort of thing's happening, I think that would have to happen at every club. Yeah, I mean. And I know Klopp's against it because last year he said he was against it. So I'd be interested to see what his thoughts are. But I mean, I really hope it doesn't happen. It's that could be the beginning of the end of football, like for me.
Yeah, never thought I'd say I like Jose Mourinho now.
Yeah, it's a strange feeling.
Yeah, Steve, have you got any last questions for our guests from the UK? We could go on all night, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could. I was going to go right back to the start again. Can you tell us about that first time when you first made contact with Corio and how it all happened that got you to first play for the club?
So I'd been looking at it for a while, actually, probably for 2 years previously, and every time it come round, I don't know why, for whatever reason, I just didn't go, and it come round, and I spoke to a lad who was there, Dan Hattersley, and it's just I knew he'd been over there, and I just said like, well, what's it like? And he told me it was good, and he said, I've got a number for a man who's looking for a president who's looking for players. Do you want me to pass your number? And I said, yeah, why not? And then since then, obviously, I had a message every other night from Mario, and I'd play
He's
a game.
a sister bugger, isn't he? That's what he wants.
It's good because obviously it's a massive thing, and like I had the family, my family were worried, because it's such a big thing. But it made me feel good because I'd finished one of my matches, and I'd look at my phone after I've had a shower in the changing room, and Mario would text me saying, "Oh, another goal, well done," and I'd look at the time, and it'd be like 4:30 in the morning, and I'd think, he's keen. So
he's mad.
That was kind of a bit crazy, but yeah, no, that was kind of how it started, and then we talked a lot over. It was probably about 3 or 4 months, wasn't it, Mars, before I decided like I was going to come over. But yeah, the best thing I've ever done. Like such a good time there.
There you go. So you'd recommend it to other teammates over there to come out and live life in Geelong and experience Australian life here and play for Corio?
100%, yeah, definitely.
Try the pizza.
Yeah.
Not the shredded ham.
There you go. Maybe a business opportunity, Mario, down at Elephant Castle. Pizza's just for English expats, you know. Probably wouldn't cost you much to make, would it? You wouldn't have to worry about the ham or anything like that. All jokes aside, MJ, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Really enjoyed it. I know I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm sure everyone who's put their comments on today, Santina, Mamoni, Joey G, Slavko Pantelic, a lot of people from Corio have been very active, but also the numbers have been great. So it's great to have an insight, and we certainly look forward to the day when we can once again see you strutting your stuff on the. By the way, Hume Reserve, the grass there is amazing now because last year no one was playing on it. I think it's rated one of the best surfaces in the state, Mario.
Yeah, it is. It's good.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So, love to have you there one day again.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me on.
Good on you, mate.
Thanks, MJ.
All the very, very best. That was MJ Monaghan from, formerly of Corio Soccer Club. Mario, any last words? It was great to have him on board, wasn't it, today?
Yeah. Oh, look, MJ and Curtis brought a bit of professionalism to our club, and I guess it forced me to improve our professionalism during the season. Like every Tuesday night, we trained at the great facility at the Leisure Time Centre on the synthetic pitch. Training was fantastic there. It was high tempo. And our own players wanted to impress these two guys. I mean, these guys came through academies in England. Curtis came through Scunthorpe. MJ was at the Wrexham Academy. And these guys knew football, and I guess it's brought me a lot of other players that I could potentially bring over as well. So I've made a lot of contacts through MJ and Curtis. So, I think once it opens up again, we'll be able to bring players of similar quality to our club.
And they must have such great influence on a lot of the local players. Now, Mario, before we let you go, we want to get your view on football in Geelong, the current situation with football in Geelong soccer.
Yeah,
it's been a tough year, obviously last year, and we're just trying to pick up the pieces. And but there are some things that we could blame on COVID, other things that we can blame on various other things. But what's your take on the current situation?
Oh, look, I've just been looking through all the junior leagues, and it's been a bit disappointing to see. Only 7 or 8 teams and under 12 boys, and 6 teams under 13s, and the same in under 14s and 15s and 16s. So it appears the numbers have dropped off in the juniors, and also particularly with the women's football as well. That's dropped off as well in numbers. And then I've looked at some of the results. Like Rangers are beating teams 22-0 and 17-0 in the local competition. That's not good for football at all. So there are a little bit of worrying signs. I don't know what to blame it on COVID or whether there's a lack of, maybe my pet hate about the lack of football coverage in the papers. Is football dying off? Maybe the same thing's happening in AFL. I'm not quite sure. Or is it to do with fees? Some of the fees might be expensive. But I think the numbers have been quite good at the NPL teams, as the NPL junior teams of Geelong and North Geelong. But with the other teams, it's been quite poor. So that's a worrying sign. I'm not quite sure what the answer is or what the solution is. But is it fees? I hear that every junior club in AFL only charge between $100 to $150 for junior fees, whereas we're charging into the hundreds and hundreds. So yes, there's worrying signs a little bit.
Yeah, I guess with the AFL, and I don't know this for a fact because I'm not involved with the AFL, but I would suggest, or I would think that they would have some sort of handouts or dividends or sponsorship from
the
mother club, the mother company, if you like, but which we don't have. In fact, it's the opposite. I think we end up financing Football Victoria, their operations.
We do.
Not. But look, you mentioned at the top of the show, you've really worked hard, and I guess you've done well to get some really good blue chip sponsors at the club. And how important is it to, I guess, not justify sponsorship, but maybe to have that purpose of attracting sponsorship to subsidise the cost of junior players and teams and things like that. Are companies more likely to sponsor when they know that their money is going directly for that type of thing?
Oh, they do. Look, the Gordon, that was one of the major reasons why we were able to get the Gordon on board. Firstly, because our fees was low. And secondly, with the work we do with the Afghani community, a lot of them do go through the Gordon as their education after the secondary college. So, that we're able to show them that we do have a large influx of refugee or former refugees playing at our club. So that was one major sponsor that we're able to attract. Viva have been fantastic of all the clubs in the northern region of Geelong. So they don't only sponsor us, they sponsor Rangers in Geelong and North Geelong. And Avalon Airport have also been a great sponsor of our club. It's important that you do have a large community involvement in the community with attracting, disadvantaged, kids to your club. That's important. Clubs sponsors don't want to see their money going directly to senior football players. It needs to be a community-based sponsorship. And one of my, and I will bring this up, like the Football Victoria will mention, clubs aren't allowed to spend X amount of money on players. Mm-hmm. Well, there's never been an audit done on any club about the excessive payments that have been made to players in the state leagues. If that was done in the local Geelong Football League, AFL League, and clubs were found brought in the system and paying above, the actual salary cap, there'd be points penalised, heavy fines. Here they do nothing about it. We all know that there are the top clubs in State 1, I'm not going to name, that are paying ridiculous amounts of money. And then the FV say, well, you're only meant to pay a travel fee to all your players. But we know that it's, the excessive payments that have made to players. What that does is that it's putting money where it should be spent into better areas of community football, going directly to senior players. It's a tough one, but the junior situation in Geelong is worrying. Rangers do a fantastic job with their juniors, and they're beating teams 17 and 22-0. That's not good for football.
No, it's not. Look, Slavko Pantelic there from the juniors subcommittee says Corio only charge $170 for mini roos. It's cost $61 to register a mini roo. So basically, what $109 is left to the club. And that's where you don't have to be a maths genius to know that you're going to run into a deficit when you take all the costs involved. But that's where sponsorship is so important to use the right channels.
But we're lucky. I mean, okay, we're in State 1, so a State 1 position does attract sponsors, but it's hard for the other community clubs who are just playing in the local leagues to attract sponsors. We're able to attract some big name sponsors, and so does North Geelong, so does Geelong, and also Rangers. But the clubs in the lower communities playing the community league, they would find it difficult to attract some big name sponsors. So they probably do charge a little bit more. But there's also excessive fees that are paid by NPL clubs. Hence the reason why the NPL fees are quite expensive for juniors. Why does North Geelong have to pay $40,000-$50,000 in NPL fees? That's just ridiculous.
That's massive, isn't it? It really is. Yeah. I mean, but then I guess you've got the other flip side as well. Some of your best juniors. Let's talk about juniors. And I know North Geelong and I know Geelong both do a great job in that they do subsidise for those players that can't afford it, and they try to do so as best as they can. But it must put off a lot of talented players who just turn around and say, we're not interested in paying that money because. Or then having to go through the process of trying to apply for exemptions or grants or discounts or this or that.
That's right, because since the NPL system has been introduced, the quality of players, of young players going through our A-League and playing overseas is diminished. Okay, here, North Geelong, they try and keep their fees down. They're probably about $1,800, $2,000, but there are clubs in Melbourne that are charging $2,500, $3,000 for juniors. Now, a lot of kids can't afford that. Underprivileged kids can't afford that.
No.
So we're losing this untapped talent because they can't afford to pay $3,000 to pay for some of the big NPL 1 clubs that the fees that they're charging. It's just ludicrous and ridiculous. And people in the administration can't see that. It's just like it bewilders me.
Now, on a positive note, I suppose when it comes to getting money or attracting money, and this is a long, slow process, and can be a long, slow process, is getting grants from councils and other state and federal governments. Now, one of the things I look at the clubs in the northern suburbs, particularly in the last 3-4 years, and I'm going to make major shout out to councillors Kylie Grisbeck and Eddie Contel, who have done such an incredible job with all the football clubs. John Aaron as well, who's a state member in this area as well. Most, if not all, of the northern suburbs clubs over the last, say, 3 years have got some sort of funding. Now, in your case, it's taken a long time, and you had to be very patient.
Got to be patient.
But in the end, you did get, and kudos to you. Tell us a bit about what is required, what's involved when you're dealing with these politicians and government bodies.
Yeah, and also want to mention Councillor Anthony Aitken as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Northern Region. Look, it's a long process. However, we as a club, when I started the process 4 years ago, I mean, how could council give us money when we only had a senior and a reserve team and one Sunday league team? They weren't going to give us any funding when there was only 3 teams involved. So it was a long process to ensure that we started our junior program. Once the council could see that a junior program was underway, then they started taking our submission seriously. So the first grant was to help us with the design drawings. Then once you've got the design drawings, which were done by a local architecture firm, then we applied for the big grant. And that's lobbying behind the scenes with the council officers. They got to support it. They'll then write a report to the councillors. Then the council will take it to the annual budget in April. And it was a long process. I can only thank the great council we've got in the north of Eddie and Contel and Anthony Aitken and Kylie Grisbeck. They did a great job in support not only Corio but also North Geelong, Lara, Rangers, Bell Park, Geelong Soccer Club. They've been fantastic. So we have got, the council pitches are the best pitches in Melbourne and Geelong, and also we've got the best facilities as well within, we played at Altona City. Their change room was a 3x3 metre shoebox. Bring Bank was the same. But we're just so lucky. We're privileged. People can talk about our council, but they do a fantastic job.
And Kylie keeps on. We had her on the show earlier in the year, and she still maintains that she's had this dream. Basically, it's not only her dream; it's I think the entire football community of having a regional facility with a 5,000 seat showpiece stadium. So, fingers crossed that we can get to that stage. But mate.
Yeah. But it's it has to be of substance and a worthwhile project because Tonksy and Steve, that when Western United played in Geelong, we were struggling to attract 3,000 people. So we need to support. Everyone needs to support all the local teams when they're playing at home. When North Geelong play at home and Geelong play at home, and Rangers and Corio and Lara. We need bigger support. Rather than just 100 or 150 people we attract.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, we've got a couple of comments here, big supporters of you, Mario. They're saying, Corey Collegi, I hope I've pronounced that right. And we need more quality people like Mario in Australian football. David Anderson, whose son, Michael Anderson, plays for North Geelong. Love your work, Mario. Great ambassador for regional football and dedicated clubman and just a lovely, nice guy. Could we maybe see Mario Gregorio one day going for president of Football Victoria? We need a Geelong representation in the board.
That would be good.
It would be good, but I don't know. It's just it is a passion of mine our sport needs to grow, but it just seems to have gone slightly backwards since 2006. But all the clubs are doing a great job and the best they can. But hopefully we can improve. We need to improve our national status, with both men's and women's football. But it'll get there.
It'll get there. That's right. Mario, thank you very, very much for being a part of tonight's show. Really has been an absolute pleasure. We love having you on board and really getting your insight. I mean, we can talk till the cows come home about what needs to be done and this and that. But when we hear it from a person such as yourself, a club president who's very actively involved behind the scenes and what you're not, it almost resonates even more. So thank you very much for
Thanks,
your
Thanks, Mario.
Good on you. That was Mario Gregorio, the president of Corio Soccer Club. Mate, we haven't got much time. We're going to whiz through the last of the local league results.
Local league action from the weekend.
Yeah, so much happened. Let's turn our attention to the Saturday games, i.e. the women. Ladies before gentlemen. Chivalry is not dead on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Let's cover the women first. So the round one results, Steve.
Yep, so these results from Saturday: Corio Bay 8, Deakin Ducks Gold 0, Geelong Soccer Club 9, Armstrong United 0, Surf Coast 1, Barwon 2, Drysdale 2, Barwon Heads 1, and FC Leopold getting the forfeit win over North Geelong. And the final fixture of that one, Geelong Rangers 2, Deakin Ducks Black 0. So that's a wrap for the women's division. Just one singular division there. No second division. Everyone's in the one comp there. So
and what Mario said. Sorry to cut you off before we look at the fixtures for this weekend coming. What Mario said. It's a real concern, the women's football. I mean, it's gone from something like 22, 23 teams in the local league 2 years ago to barely enough teams. Well, 12 teams in the one division. Now, I'm hearing reports. I'm hearing stories that a lot of women are giving the game away because they don't want to be playing in the one division, in the Division 1. There is no other division, unfortunately. This is the thing. We don't have enough for two divisions. And someone's going to say, but yeah, we could have a 6-team first division, a 6-team second division, and what you're not. The problem at the moment is we've had so many teams pull out, and I guess this is why the fixtures are a bit of a fiasco. Teams are pulling out sort of the week leading up to the start of the season. And guess what? The fixtures then have to be redone, and there's all sorts of combinations and what you're not. But unfortunately, it is what it is. This is a real, Steve, a pet hate of mine, because I was once upon a time involved with Football Victoria and was heavily involved in the Geelong region. And when I look at 3 years ago, that we had two divisions and we were on the cusp of having a third division, and to now be back to just one single division. Look, we're still a lot better than a lot of the other country areas, Ballarat, Bendigo, Shepparton, or Warrnambool, what you're not, compared to those centres. But at the same time, we are a bigger region as well. So hopefully things will get better.
We have also got the Galaxy, Lara, and North Geelong Warriors doing a good job on the state level as well.
Absolutely. Well, let's look.
I guess we should mention. So those fixtures for this weekend, we've got a Friday night one to kick us off at Grovedale Reserve. It's Barwon and Drysdale. Then at Deakin, the Ducks Gold team will play Geelong Soccer Club. That's the early kickoff there on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. at Deakin. Also on Saturday, Armstrong United will host Surf Coast at Armstrong Creek Sporting Oval. Barwon Heads will host Geelong Rangers at Barwon Heads Village Park. Both of those fixtures are 1 p.m. kickoffs. Then at 1:30, Deakin Ducks Black against North Geelong Warriors. That is at the Deakin Top Field. And finally, to round us out at 2:30 on Saturday, FC Leopold versus Corio Bay at Estuary Reserve.
Yeah, and look, we got to make a comment there. North Geelong Warriors, that team now, most of the key players from last season's North Geelong Warriors, or 2 years ago, have moved to the State League. There's a lot of players that have left Geelong Rangers as well, have either gone to North Geelong, or I'm not too sure if they've gone to Galaxy, but there's a lot of players there that are missing. Deakin Ducks aren't as strong as what they used to be. Look at the top, the first game, Barwon versus Drysdale. Once upon a time, that was I guess they were the teams that were likely to dominate, and they've struggled in recent years. And look, the two teams that had massive results in the first round, Corio Bay and Geelong, guess what? They actually happen to be Division 2 teams. So they aren't actually Division 1 teams. So look, Geelong, I know, picked up a lot of players from Bell Park. Corio Bay, I'm not too sure. They've obviously picked up some very good players, and those two teams are two teams to keep an eye out. But the overall women's division isn't nowhere near as high as what it was once upon a time about 2 years ago. So, for those women that are kind of thinking, we don't want to be playing with with very, very good sides and this and that, apart from one or two teams or maybe three teams at max, that division is going to have a lot of, let's call them teams that are around the same sort of standard, containing many, many women who have never played the game before. So please, ladies, don't be scared off by the competition, by the games, because it's all part of that learning curve. And Armstrong United, I think they put their post up or something like that. Heads up, some of them played the football for the very, very first time. And that was great to see. And the encouragement that's coming then to these players and the team members from people within the community, from within the club, is absolutely fantastic. They're saying it's part of that. You got to, I guess, there has to be a winner, there has to be a loser. You can't always win, you can't always lose, but it's part of that, having fun, learning, getting better and improving. So, ladies, it will come. It will come. All right.
Absolutely right, mate. Well said.
Turning our attention to
the men's. So those results, all these matches took place yesterday. Bell Park 4-2 winners over Armstrong United. Surf Coast went down to Barwon 4-1. Drysdale 4-2 winners over Corio Bay, and the match between Geelong Rangers and Elko Park Cardinals closely fought, 2-2 that one ended. FC Leopold will have to wait until next week for their first clash.
Now, a big shout out once again to Armstrong United playing their first game in Division 1, and FC Leopold, they're having the bye, but it's great to see those two teams, two of the youngest clubs in Geelong, stepping up, and they are part of the Division 1 competition. Now, there are two other divisions, Division 2 and Division 3, but we'd be here till midnight, I think, talking about all those divisions if we had to. So those teams in Division 2 and Division 3, if you want to get profiled, get promoted. That's what we want. Or sponsor the club, sponsor an episode like Corio did, and we'll feature some of your teams and your clubs. And saying that, we've got Armstrong United, we've got Barwon, we have got North Geelong, we've also got, I'm missing someone. We've got Breakwater Eagles as well, that are going to be featured in some of our upcoming shows. But before that happens, fixtures for the weekend coming, Steve.
This Friday night at 6:30, it's Elko Park Cardinals in Bell Park at Elko Park. On Saturday, Corio Bay versus Surf Coast Evans Reserve at 1 p.m. Armstrong United will be at home against Drysdale at 3 o'clock on Sunday. FC Leopold versus Geelong Rangers at Estuary Reserve, 3 o'clock on Sunday. Barwon has the bye. And just to recap, I hope I said that right, Corio Bay and Surf Coast is Sunday. Yes.
Sunday. You did say Saturday. You did this. Yeah. Also on Sunday. Also on Sunday, those games involving the women's teams. We've had an opportunity to find out. It's Lara United taking on Maribyrnong Swifts at 1 p.m. on Anzac Day, and North Geelong taking on Point Cook at 3 p.m. Also on Sunday. On Anzac Day. So we've got a lot of football coming up this weekend. Steve, any plans? Are you commentating any of the games this week?
Oh, well, it's still a bit early in the week, mate, so we'll have to wait and see. But I'm still recovering from doing 2 games on last weekend. And if you want to hear me sounding like a complete robot, just look for those highlights of Eastern Lions versus Heidelberg United, where the internet quality wasn't the best at Gardners Creek Reserve on Saturday afternoon, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, thanks, mate, for being a part of tonight's show. It has been a great show. That interview with MJ Monaghan was so good in so many ways. So great to have that, and Mario Gregoria as well. So, folks, if you want your fix of football this week, make sure to tune in on Friday to the Football Out West show. We've got a big announcement to make, probably likely to be this Friday. So I'll keep my fingers. I'll keep my lips sealed, because I'll let.
Any clues, mate? There we go.
I'll let Craig Filer make the announcement on Friday. But that's, by the way, how good is that? That was from his 50th birthday, where a whole heap of people got dressed up like Craig Filer. So, Craig, big shout out to you. You're up in Sydney tuning into this show. He'll be back by Friday, and we'll have a major announcement to be made this Friday on the Football Out West show. To everyone, thank you very much for joining tonight's program. Has been an absolute pleasure having you all on board. And every Monday night, join us here on the Geelong Region Soccer Show from 7 p.m. And we look forward to having your company next week. In the meantime, have a great week and enjoy the week.
Good night.
Good night. Oysters, salmon, steak. Where in Geelong can you get great food from such a wide-ranging menu? Friendly staff and a bar to enjoy drinks with friends. Live music every Saturday night and every Sunday night, as well as live sport on the big screens every Friday night. Well, at the Elephant and Castle, of course, situated on 158 MacKillop Street in East Geelong, the Elephant and Castle has everything that you will want and need when you decide to have a night out on the town. There is even a function space available in the heated undercover beer garden out the back. For more information on all of our upcoming events or to book online, click on the Book Now tab on the Elephant and Castle website at www.elephantandcastle.com.au.